Every morning when you open your eyes, before the noise of the world has a chance to creep into your thoughts, you must take a moment to claim responsibility for the energy you will carry into the day. Too often, people wake up and instantly surrender their mood to circumstance. The alarm rings too early, the body feels heavy, the phone buzzes with notifications, and suddenly the mind is pulled in 10 different directions before the feet even touch the ground. But you must remember that the quality of your day does not begin with what the world demands from you. It begins with the energy you decide to generate. This is not about pretending everything is perfect or forcing yourself to be unrealistically positive. It is about ownership. When you say to yourself, "I am responsible for my energy today," you are declaring that you will not be a victim of chaos, but a master of your inner state. Think of energy as the fuel that drives every action, every decision, every interaction you will face. If your energy is scattered, everything you touch will carry that scattered vibration. If your energy is centered, then no matter what happens externally, you remain steady. Taking responsibility means you are not waiting for someone else to inspire you, motivate you, or calm you down. You begin to generate that from within. This is a practice of self-mastery, and it requires awareness. As you rise each morning, take a deep breath and recognize that you hold the steering wheel. The way you choose to think, the way you choose to respond, will decide whether you waste the day in distraction or direct it toward clarity and focus. Imagine for a moment that you walk into a room full of people. If you enter with heavy energy, frustrated, drained, distracted, you will influence everyone without even saying a word. On the other hand, if you arrive with calm, grounded energy, others will naturally begin to align with it. That is the silent power of energy ownership. The same is true with how you approach your tasks. If you begin the day with a restless mind, even small challenges will feel overwhelming. But if you begin the day with a decision to carry steady energy, even large obstacles become manageable. Because your state is not dictated by the size of the problem, but by the strength of your inner foundation. There is freedom in realizing that nothing outside of you has the power to dictate your state unless you hand over that authority. The traffic on the road, the words of a critic, the weight of yesterday's mistakes, none of these can steal your focus unless you allow them to. But telling yourself in the morning, "I am responsible for my energy," you are drawing a clear line. You are saying that no matter what arrives, you will decide how to carry yourself through it. This doesn't mean you will never feel frustration, disappointment, or fatigue. It means that you will not allow those feelings to dominate and rule over you. You acknowledge them, but you don't give them the keys to your day. And as you practice this day after day, something shifts inside you. You begin to notice that situations which used to disturb you no longer have the same hold. People who used to unsettle your peace no longer carry the same weight. You begin to feel a quiet strength rising, the kind that does not need to prove itself with loud words or aggressive action. It is the strength of someone who knows they are in command of themselves. This is the foundation of unstoppable focus. Without energy ownership, focus cannot last, because the mind will always be tossed around by circumstance. But when you take responsibility each morning, you create a shield around your attention. You decide what deserves your energy and what does not. You stop wasting power on things that drain you and begin to invest it into the things that align with your purpose. So when the sun rises tomorrow and you open your eyes, do not rush into the noise of the world. Take a moment to pause, breathe, and remind yourself of this truth: I am responsible for my energy today. Your mind is the strongest weapon you will ever carry, but the truth is most people never learn how to use it. They walk through life with incredible potential, yet allow their thoughts to scatter in every direction, like water spilling out of a broken vessel. The mind is capable of building dreams, breaking chains, and enduring storms, but only when it is sharpened, disciplined, and directed with intention. Every morning when you rise, remind yourself of this power. Tell yourself, my mind is my strongest weapon. Because what you feed your mind and how you train it will decide whether you spend your day wandering aimlessly or moving with unshakable clarity. Think about a blade. A sharp blade can cut through obstacles with precision, while a dull blade struggles even with the smallest task. The same is true of the mind. A disciplined mind is sharp, it sees through distractions, it cuts through excuses, and it moves with focus toward what matters most. But a mind that is never trained becomes dull and heavy, easily bent by every challenge. And just like the blade requires constant sharpening, your mind requires constant practice. It is not enough to wake up and hope that focus will appear on its own. You must build it day by day, through the thoughts you choose to allow and the ones you refuse to entertain. The world is filled with noise, voices pulling you in every direction, endless notifications, opinions, and pressures. If you are not careful, your mind will become a sponge, soaking up everything without question. But when you understand that your mind is your weapon, you begin to guard it. You choose carefully what enters, because you know that whatever you let in has the power to shape the quality of your life. A warrior does not hand his sword to anyone who asks. He protects it, he keeps it sharp, and he uses it only with purpose. The same discipline must be applied to the mind. And yet, this weapon is not sharpened through comfort. It is sharpened through resistance. Every time you push yourself to hold your attention when it wants to wander, every time you choose patience when frustration rises, every time you return to your breath when your thoughts are running wild, you are training the mind. These moments may seem small, but over time they create the difference between a mind that collapses under pressure and a mind that stands unshaken. When you remind yourself each morning that your mind is your strongest weapon, you are also reminding yourself that clarity is a choice. Focus is not something reserved for the gifted. It is cultivated by those who are willing to train. You begin to understand that you don't have to chase 100 things at once. You can bring your entire awareness into the task in front of you, and in doing so, you begin to master it. This is how great works are built, not by scattered effort, but by the disciplined application of the mind's full strength. And the most powerful part of this truth is that no one else can control it but you. Circumstances may change, people may come and go, challenges may rise, but your ability to direct your mind remains in your hands. The mind, once trained, becomes a fortress. Distractions may knock at the door, but they cannot enter unless you open it. Doubts may whisper, but they cannot take root unless you allow them to. With training, the mind becomes a loyal servant to your higher purpose instead of a restless master pulling you in every direction. So when you stand before the day, remember this: your greatest strength does not lie in the noise around you, but in the discipline within you. Your mind is your strongest weapon. Every one of us wants progress, but very few are willing to embrace the truth that progress never arrives wrapped in comfort. Growth is always delivered in the form of discomfort, and the sooner you understand this, the stronger you become. Too often, when something feels difficult or heavy, people immediately see it as a sign that they are going the wrong way. They retreat, they complain, they search for the easiest path. But if you look closely at life, you'll see that every great transformation is born out of moments that first felt uncomfortable. The body grows stronger by pushing against resistance. The mind grows sharper by wrestling with challenge. The spirit grows deeper by facing uncertainty and pain. Discomfort is not your enemy, it is your teacher. Think about the first time you tried something new. Maybe it was learning a skill, stepping into a new role, or facing a situation you had never experienced before. In those first moments, it felt unfamiliar, awkward, even intimidating. That discomfort was your body and mind stretching, being pulled out of what was easy into what was necessary. Without it, you would have remained the same. This is why it's dangerous to always search for ease. The pursuit of comfort is often the slowest form of self-destruction because it keeps you locked in the familiar, unable to evolve. But when you learn to lean into discomfort, you begin to see it not as punishment, but as preparation. Every morning, remind yourself that the difficult moments ahead of you are not designed to break you, but to shape you. That challenging conversation, that heavy responsibility, that fear of failing, they are classrooms where your strength is being tested and built. It's easy to stand tall when everything is smooth, but true focus is proven in the fire of resistance. That is where you discover what you are made of. And if you keep running away from discomfort, you will never learn the depth of your own capacity. Look at nature. The seed must crack open in the dark soil before it can reach the light. The butterfly must struggle in its cocoon before it can fly. The muscle must tear under weight before it grows stronger. The lesson is always the same: without discomfort, there is no transformation. Life is constantly teaching us this truth, but many are too quick to escape the very process that would free them. And yet, Embracing discomfort does not mean you must seek out unnecessary suffering. It means you stop resisting the challenges that naturally arise in your journey. You stop wasting energy wishing things were easier, and instead ask yourself how this difficulty can make you wiser, sharper, more disciplined. When you shift your perspective in this way, discomfort no longer feels like an enemy. It becomes a guide. You begin to welcome it, knowing that with every uncomfortable step, you are walking closer to the best version of yourself. This perspective also protects your focus. When you see discomfort as a teacher, you no longer allow it to distract you or knock you off your path. Instead of panicking when things don't feel easy, you recognize that the struggle is part of the process. This steadies your mind, keeps your energy aligned, and allows you to keep moving forward when others give up. Where others see walls, you see doors waiting to be opened. Where others see pressure, you see training. So each morning as you prepare for the day, remind yourself of this truth: discomfort is not a signal to stop. It is a signal to grow. The mind has a tendency to wander, always reaching forward into the future or clinging backward to the past. One moment it's worrying about what might happen, and the next it's replaying what already happened. And in this constant back and forth, the present moment, the only place where life truly unfolds, gets lost. Focus begins to weaken, not because you don't have the ability to concentrate, but because your attention is scattered across time. This is why every morning you must remind yourself, I am present in this moment. Presence is where your power lives. Presence is where clarity is found. When you are fully present, you stop wasting energy on things you cannot control. The past is unchangeable, no matter how many times you revisit it in your mind. The future is not yet here, no matter how much you try to control it in advance. But the present, this breath, this choice, this step, that is real. That is the ground on which you can build something solid. The challenge is that being present requires discipline. The mind will always try to pull you away, and you must gently but firmly bring it back again and again. This act of returning is the essence of focus training. Think about how often your attention is divided. You might sit with someone, but your mind is on your phone. You might be working, but your thoughts are drifting toward what you'll do later. You might even be resting, but your mind is restless with everything left undone. And then you wonder why life feels fragmented, why clarity feels so hard to grasp. It is because you are everywhere but here. But when you commit to presence, something shifts. Suddenly the conversation deepens, the work becomes more meaningful, and even moments of silence become restorative. The quality of your life improves not because the circumstances changed, but because you actually showed up for them. Presence is also the foundation of peace. Anxiety thrives in the future, regret thrives in the past, but peace is only ever found right now. When you are present, you see things as they are, not as your fears project them to be. You hear more clearly, you see more sharply, you act more wisely. This is not just philosophy, it is practical. A present mind wastes less energy, makes better decisions, and carries itself with greater confidence. The warrior who is present can respond swiftly and effectively because he is not distracted by what is beyond his control. Training presence is simple, but not easy. It begins with awareness. When you catch yourself drifting, you do not judge. You simply return. You anchor yourself in your breath, in your senses, in the task before you. You practice this not once, but continually, until it becomes natural. Over time, you notice that the noise of distraction no longer pulls you as strongly. You begin to live with a kind of stillness, even in the middle of activity. That stillness is not the absence of movement. It is the strength of attention that is undivided. Every morning, before the world places its demands upon you, pause for a moment and affirm this truth: I am present in this moment. Feel the ground beneath your feet, the air in your lungs, the stillness before the day begins. Carry that awareness forward into everything you do. It will sharpen your focus, calm your spirit, and align your actions with purpose. So when the mind tries to pull you away into yesterday or tomorrow, bring it back and remind yourself of this truth: I am present in this moment. It is easy to get inspired for a moment. A surge of motivation can carry you for a day, maybe even a week. But if you want true transformation, you must learn the quiet strength of consistency. Every morning, you should remind yourself that consistency is your superpower. Greatness is never built in a single act of brilliance, but in the steady, Repeated choices that may seem small at the time, yet create massive change over the course of weeks, months, and years. Most people underestimate the power of small daily actions. They look for dramatic breakthroughs, for overnight results, for something that feels extraordinary right away. But life doesn't work like that. The body doesn't grow strong after one workout, it grows strong after thousands of repetitions. The mind doesn't become focused after one meditation. It becomes focused after returning to the practice day after day. The spirit doesn't become resilient after one test. It becomes resilient after facing challenge again and again. Consistency is the force that turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Think about water dripping onto stone. One drop by itself seems meaningless, but over time those drops carve valleys and shape landscapes. That is the power of consistency. It is quiet, it is patient, but it is unstoppable. Every morning, when you remind yourself that consistency is your superpower, you are committing not just to what you will do today, but to the pattern you will repeat tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. You are choosing to build momentum that compounds in ways you cannot yet see. The challenge is that consistency requires discipline more than motivation. Motivation will come and go, but discipline is what carries you through on the days when you don't feel like showing up. There will be mornings when you're tired, when your mind is restless, when the temptation to delay your commitments feels heavy. These are the moments that test your consistency. If you only act when you feel ready, you will never build strength. But when you act even when you don't feel like it, you train yourself to rise above comfort and build character that cannot be shaken. And here is the beauty of consistency. The small actions you take today don't just add up. They multiply. They shape your identity. Every time you follow through, even in the smallest way, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become. Over time, those votes accumulate until you no longer have to force the habit. It becomes who you are. You no longer have to convince yourself to focus, because you have trained yourself to be focused. You no longer have to wrestle with doubt, because you have built a track record of showing up that proves your strength. Consistency also teaches you patience. It reminds you that the best things in life are grown, not grabbed. Just like a tree takes time to bear fruit, your efforts require time to mature. If you dig up the seed every day to see if it's growing, you will destroy it. But if you water it daily, even when nothing seems to be happening, eventually it will break through the soil and reach for the sky. Your life is no different. Trust the process, keep showing up, and let consistency do its quiet work. So as you step into the day, don't just focus on doing something great once. Focus on doing something meaningful again and again until it becomes part of you. Remember this truth each morning and carry it with you. Consistency is my superpower.